I recently spoke to a friend of mine who was divorced and uncovered for him over $20,000 per year. He was unaware of the rules available to him and actually how easy it was for him to go and collect. In this video, I will share with you how to think about the divorced spouse rules. And certainly everybody's experience is going to be a little bit different, but you should know what's out there and available to you. And yes, this is available for both spouses or exes. My name is Mark Singer. For more up-to-date information on retirement and Social Security, subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications bell below to make sure that you're alerted to when we post new videos. So let's go directly to my screen and let's start our lesson today. Now, there are a lot of different moving parts to understanding what benefit is available to you. So let's take a look at rule number 1. The ex-spouse must be at least 62. The worker on whose record the benefit is being claimed must be at least age 62. If the divorce occurred more than 2 years prior, the worker does not need to have filed for his or her own retirement benefit. That's very important. For example, Michael and Maria were married over 10 years. They've been divorced over 2 years. Both are age 62. Maria has not remarried. Maria is therefore eligible for a divorced spousal benefit based on Michael's work record, regardless of whether or not Michael has filed for his own benefit. One of the issues to be aware of, by the way, is that, and we all know that not all divorces are amicable, but you don't have to get in touch with the ex in order to make this filing. Social Security will look into it. You don't even need their Social Security number, just their date of birth. Very important to know. Next, if the divorced spouse benefit is claimed at full retirement age or later, it will be 50% of the worker's primary insurance amount, the PIA. For example, Jim and Judy are divorced. Jim's PIA is $2,600. Judy does not qualify for a benefit on her own record. If Judy files for her divorced spouse benefit at age 66, she will receive 50% of Jim's PIA, or $1,300, as her divorced spouse benefit. Now, one of the planning scenarios that we come into often is when somebody had been married, let's say 25 or 30 years earlier, or divorced for that long ago, but forgotten about it. This is why it's important to ask questions up front during the planning process to find out what you are eligible for. Rule number 3 is your own benefit comes first. If the divorced person also qualifies for a benefit on her own work record, she will be paid her own benefit first. If her PIA is less than half of his PIA, she will receive that difference in addition to her own benefit. For example, let's say Tom and Trudy are divorced after more than 10 years of marriage. Tom's PIA is $2,600. Trudy's PIA is $800. Trudy files at her full retirement age and she'll receive her own benefit of $800 plus the difference between her PIA and one half of Tom's, which would be $1,300. So in essence, she'd get a $500 boost. Instead of getting her own $800, she'd get the $800 plus the $500 for $1,300. So it's important to understand how much you can receive and whether or not his or her work record is, and 50% of that is worth more than yours. Again, part of the overall planning scenario. A divorced person who was born before January 2nd, 1954, who has not previously filed for benefits can file a restricted application for the divorced spouse benefit at full retirement age and let their own benefit build delayed credits to age 70. The other spouse could do the same. 2 ex-spouses can file each on each other's records at the same time. Again, providing it's been at least 2 years since the divorce. This is very important. This rule basically is expiring at the end of this year, 2020, but it may still be available for some. Again, we did a complete video on this. Click on the link below to find out more. This is a lot, I know, but if you have the right conversation with the right people, you can understand more about what your real benefit is. And if you're interested in more of a full-blown, comprehensive look at the whole process of how we look at Social Security and retirement income planning, click on the link below that states Become My Client, and you'll learn about, again, how we think about it and how it could potentially benefit you. Let's go back to the lesson today and get back to the rules. Let me share my screen again. So a person who has been divorced twice can choose the higher of the two divorced spouse benefits as long as each marriage lasted at least 10 years and the applicant is currently unmarried. But remember, if she also qualifies for a benefit of her own work record, she must take the benefit first. And if she has been divorced less than 2 years, the ex must have filed for his benefit. For example, for those of you who remember Johnny Carson and how many times he was married, if he was married 4 times, each of the exes could claim, as long as they were all married to Johnny over 10 years each, respectively. Larry King was married 7 times. So each of those hypothetically divorcees could collect as long as they were each married for more than the 10 years. And it would not impact any of the other exes or Johnny or Larry. So it's very interesting to understand the rules, but very important to know how to maximize these benefits for you. If an ex-spouse is deceased, a divorced person can receive a divorced spouse survivor benefit based on the ex-spouse's record, providing the applicant is currently unmarried or remarried after age 60. Now, this is very important for planning purposes, because if you're approaching age 60 and considering getting remarried as a widow, you may really want to consider all the planning strategies and potentially delay the marriage, the second or third marriage, whatever it is, to at least age 60 to get that full benefit. It may or may not make an impact on you depending upon your financial circumstances, but it would be important to know and understand the implications. If the person applying for the divorced spouse benefit worked in a non-Social Security covered job, the divorced spouse benefit will be reduced by 2/3 of the amount of her pension under the government pension offset. This will likely reduce it to 0. Now, this is one of those areas that is very complicated, full of numbers. I don't want to bore you with them now, but we did do a full video on the government pension offset. That video is available. You could click on the link below to learn more. And finally, rule number 8, married, divorced, remarried, and divorced again. Yes, life takes its course. If a couple has married, divorced, remarried, and divorced again, the 2 marriages can be added together, including the time in between, for the purpose of determining the 10 years, providing the remarriage occurred before the end of the calendar year following the divorce. For example, Peter and Paula were married from June 2001 to September 2008, 7 years. They remarried in December 2009 and divorced in November of 2012, or another 3 years. Therefore, they meet the 10-year requirement because the remarriage took place before the end of the calendar year following the first divorce. Yes, there's a lot to think about, but there's so much money available to you to make sure that you maximize your benefit. And if you're interested in learning more about how to customize an income plan for your particular circumstance, click on the link below to become my client to learn more about how we think about things, how we interact with our clients, and how you could potentially maximize your income in retirement. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to our channel and tell your friends about it. Thank you for watching, and I certainly hope you do enjoy the retirement journey.